Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tabletop Temple, where we paint, we play, and we pray to the dice gods. Continuing on with the miniature paint series from Stonesaga, the next one I decided to paint it up is the Mantle of the Storyteller. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. And the first color I decided to go with is Darkoath Flesh for his skin. You could probably go with like a Hardened Leather or Satchel Brown or something along those lines for his gloves, but I wanted his hands to be kind of exposed to the elements, so that's why I'm painting his hands the Darkoath Flesh as well. The next color I decided to throw on is Imperial Fist from Citadel. And this is mainly going to be for his pants and his tunic that he's wearing. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called a tunic. Try to avoid the little fur trim that is by his feet and by his arms and on his shoulders, because that we are going to paint blinding light later on, as you'll see in the video. Kind of treating this one a bit more as a base coat as well, and again you will see why later on in the video, so stick around. Now, it's not going to be too much of a difference here. You can either use Imperial Fist or Zealot Yellow, but I went with Zealot Yellow for his shoulder, mainly because I was trying to see if there would be some sort of distinction, because I was testing out the waters on some of these paints on how I should approach the artwork. But I don't know, you be the judge. Let me know in the comments below. Now, the next color I decided to throw on is Gore Grunta Fur from Citadel. It's one I truly love using for this type of situation because it really goes hand in hand with that really dark brown versus a more lighter mid-tone brown. And that's the reason why I decided to use it in this particular case, because I truly think it makes the yellow pop that much more. So Gore Grunta Fur from Citadel. Now, while you have Gore Grunta Fur out still, you can go ahead and paint the headband that's on him. I wasn't quite sure what brown to go with, but after giving it some thought, I figured it was the best color to use for it. Moving on to the next color, which is Bony Matter from Army Painter. You want to use this to paint his shoes as well as a few features on him. For example, the bones that are on his satchel backpack thingy that's on his back. Yeah, those bones right there. Yeah. Now, this was a little bit spur of the moment, but it actually worked out in my favor later on in the video. I decided to at first paint the little straps around his hammer the same color, as well as a couple of other straps that are on him. But the more and more I painted this, the more I realized that the Bony Matter served great as a base coat, similar to what's going to happen with the Imperial Fist Yellow, as you'll see later in the video. Moving on to the next color, which is going to be Satchel Brown from Army Painter. You want to use this one for the more wooden features on him. So go for the log that's on his back, or shoulders rather, and also use it for the handle of his hammer as well. I've also used Satchel Brown for the stitches that are on his pants, and you really want to take your time with that, because if you let Satchel Brown pull, it's gonna get everywhere. So a bit smaller tip brush and take your time with those stitches. And that's if you want to use the Satchel Brown. That is completely up to you. This was just a spur of the moment decision from me. Moving on to Hardened Leather from Army Painter, I decided to go with this color to mainly use it for the satchel backpack that's holding up the bones for him. But this was also where I decided to use it for his belt, as well as the other leather straps that are already painted with Bony Matter. The Bony Matter base coat kind of added something to the leather straps. I initially thought that the Hardened Leather would look a little bit better, but I was truly happy with the results. So that's not to say that Bony Matter wouldn't look good at all. If you want to use just Bony Matter, then by all means go for it. But after I painted it, I just thought to myself, wow, that actually looks really good. So that's why I decided to, you know what, just continue and go over with the Hardened Leather. Now here's the interesting part for the Imperial Fist base coat. I decided to mix a 1-to-1 ratio of Bony Matter and Imperial Fist and go back over the base coat of the Imperial Fist. What that ended up doing was making the color kind of match the artwork a little bit more, in terms of it made it look a little bit faded or more muted, which is kind of what the artwork is shooting for. So I'm not sure. You be the judge of that one. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm starting to notice that my videos do not go by without me using Gravelord Grey for some reason. In this particular case, use it for his hammer as well as the stone he is stepping on. Now, as a final step, you want to go ahead and put some basing glue over some selected parts of the stone, and then we're going to apply some basing snow to it to make it look like, obviously, he's standing on snow. I'm not really sure what happened to the footage of the blinding light, but that's the color I've used for all of the white fur. on the trim, on his head, and etc. But that, my friends, is how you paint the Mantle of the Storyteller from the game Stonesaga, who I really want to thank Open Owl Studios for sending me a copy, because I am having a ball with it. But that's going to do it for today's video, everybody. If you liked the video, please drop a like on it. Leave a comment on what you think and how you're painting these miniatures so far. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you not have done so already. But as always, I'm your friendly neighborhood guru, and I will see you on the next Tabletop Temple. Goodbye, my friends.